Welcome to the English Out Loud podcast, a podcast where I give you tips on how you can enhance your spoken English. My name is Pat. I'm from Toronto. I'm an American accent coach. And today I want to talk not so much specifically about accent stuff. I mean, a few tips may come up here and there, but I mostly want to focus on the kind of vocab it takes to move from one house to another house. Because that's what I've been doing. My wife and I, Estefania, the lovely Estefania, is back for another appearance, back by popular demand. Here she is yet again.
Hello guys. Thank you for asking for me. I'm back.
Always welcome. Always happy to make an episode with you. Because otherwise, the second mic I got just sits around collecting dust. So it's better when we use it. So I'm most certainly happy to have you here with me because we've been through quite an ordeal over the past week. We've learned a few things. We've broken a couple of plates. And we got the job done. But we made a few mistakes. And today we want to talk about those mistakes so that you may be able to avoid it in the future. Well, before we get into that, I'd just like to mention to everybody that this podcast, you can find it on all these different podcasting apps, Spotify, Apple Music. The English Out Loud podcast can be found all over the place. Just look it up on your podcasting app of choice, and it will surely pop up. The thing is, you want to make sure that you hit subscribe, because when you subscribe, then you get updated as soon as an episode comes up. And then also it makes it more likely that other people will be able to find this podcast and get tips to improve their own spoken English too. So that is... yeah.
It's a good way to help everyone.
I agree.
To spread the word.
Yes, totally. Spread the word. The show is on the road. Check it out on your podcasting app of choice. English Out Loud podcast. Hit subscribe, hit like, leave a comment. I appreciate it. Well, let's get into some moving type vocab today. In the United States, the summer is a season when we see people all over the country move from one house to another. And as I previously mentioned, we just moved from a great apartment on one end of the city to a house on the other end of the city. Now, there's a good idiom to kick things off right away. The end of the city. Is this, what do you suppose when you hear that? One end of the city and the other end of the city. What do you think about that?
I think they're both really far from each other. 2
points far from each other. Absolutely. And would you say, are we at other opposite ends of the city?
Yeah, of the metropolitan area of the city.
And so this is from one far side of the city all the way to the other far limit of the city. It doesn't mean that the city's terminating. It doesn't mean the end of the city as if they're canceling the city, but like going from one side to the other. So we went from one end of the city to the other end of the city. Both are really nice areas. And what do you think about these areas that we've moved from moving over there to over here?
Well, I think they're different areas in terms of like how population. Like there's definitely more people where we're moving right now. So I'm interested to see if we'll be able to meet more people around here. There's more chances to have like a social...
yeah.
Or get to know them anyways. You just want to get to meet your neighbors because they'll be the people that, if you need something done fast, if there's an emergency, they'll be the first people you'll be able to call. So you want to keep the people that are close to you aware that you exist.
Absolutely. And so get to know your neighbors. It's a super friendly thing to do. And if you can, hey, even have a barbecue and invite people from your neighborhood. Why not? Americans actually, and Canadians too, really love getting together over a barbecue. It's kind of a, midday thing in our culture, often for lunch. So try it out. If it's the summertime, go for it. Regarding moving, though, before you even get to the neighborhood, the first thing I want to bring up is that the earlier you can get a start on things when it comes to moving, the better. Of course, you don't want to have moving boxes stacked up all over the place for the entire month. That's not what I'm talking about. It might feel a little overwhelming. You want your home to feel like a home, not a warehouse. So before you pack anything, I suggest do a little downsizing. What is downsizing? What does it mean to downsize? This is to get rid of anything that will not be necessary in your new abode, in your new house. This is good for a few reasons. First, you'll have less junk to pack for the big day. And secondly, if you're moving into a smaller place, it'll be nice to reduce some clutter before you move. There's a good word right there, clutter. What is clutter?
Like, to me, when I see the word clutter, I just think, like, oh, a pile of garbage. Or something that's stocking in there and not being used. Stuff that's just dusty in your house that, like, you've never seen, like, you haven't seen it for years. You don't even know what is in there. Maybe there's some new rodent friend living in there.
Just a mouse moved in?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that involves, well, I don't...
Moved into your shoes.
Part of your clutter there.
Well, it could be. I mean, the problem is sometimes we just assume that clutter is garbage. This is my problem. And I just throw all the clutter in the garbage. And it wasn't garbage all the time. Sometimes not. Sometimes some of it was real important, but it just looked, it was clutter. So clutter is when things collect in an area and look messy. Clothes on the ground or dirty dishes piled up on a counter. When you've got a coffee table and you put on a magazine and a newspaper and an iPad and this and that, and then it just looks like a mess. You wouldn't throw it all in the garbage necessarily, but you do want to cut down on the clutter. So here's how you do it. We want to think minimally. When we're downsizing, when we're reducing clutter, you want to be minimalistic in your thinking. You want to separate anything that you don't need, or honestly anything that you regret buying, anything that you look at and you're like, oh my God, why did I buy that? Put it in a donation pile. This could be clothes, it could be old shoes, toys, useless electronics, like maybe you've got an old computer that the screen doesn't work or something. Why would you carry around a computer that the screen doesn't work? You've had it for 8 years. It's not sentimental. It's a computer. You've got a better one now. Maybe this is more a personal problem between you and I here.
Are you trying to tell me something about my computer?
Yeah, you've got this other computer there. It doesn't even work. It's a nice-looking computer.
It works. You just have to use a separate keyboard. But if you connect it to this TV, then you can use it with the keyboard.
Okay, well... So if you hook the HDMI cable up to the TV and then you hook the keyboard up to a separate wireless keyboard, it works just fine. It's a perfect computer. But we've got better computers now, and it could be donated.
Or fixed.
It could be fixed and then even sold. You want to either throw these things away or donate them. You may also think to yourself, like we just said, okay, there is another option. You don't have to donate everything. You don't have to throw everything away. You can sell things. If you put something on Facebook and you say, hey, I've got an old junk computer. Does anyone want to buy it off me? Someone might send you $20 for it or $30 for it or something. And then, boom, you got another $30. You're going to need that to order a pizza the day that you're moving, right? Okay, so Facebook's great when you got a few, big things you want to sell. But beyond that, if you've got a whole lot of junk that you want to get rid of, well, you could have a garage sale or a yard sale.
Oh, well, something that my mom does a lot with my toys and clothes has been selling them in garage sales. But I think you call them yard sales. I don't know the difference.
Folks, this is just a quick message to remind you to subscribe to the Accent Training Podcast. If you haven't already, you don't want to miss a second of this accent training experience. And you want to be updated whenever I've got new content out for you. So if you haven't subscribed, hit subscribe now. There is no real difference between a yard sale and a garage sale. same thing. I would just say a garage sale, maybe they got the garage door open. Maybe they got a car to sell. So maybe a garage sale is a little, maybe it's better. Maybe there's more. You can find tools in there and whatnot.
So in Canada and the States, we have garage sales, we have yard sales. What do you do here in Mexico?
We do bazaars.
Okay, now the word bizarre to me means strange, but
Bazar.
Bazar. Cool.
Not bizarre. Oh, okay. No, bazar.
Bazar.
Venta de bazar. Venta de bazar. Bazar sale.
Bazar sale.
Yeah,
Cool.
I don't know what bazaar means. I'm gonna Google that.
A bazar. I've participated in a few of these and setting these up, and I found this to be even more complex than the average yard sale. Now, maybe it's because I was an adult doing the bazaar and I was only a young boy doing the garage sale. But I most certainly found that the bazaar had a lot of attention, and it seemed that there's like a lot of regulars that come by. Do people do bazaars like every week?
Well, normally you have like a mercadito. It's like a farmer's market, yeah. And in the farmer's market, there'll be people that sell clothing and stuff. They do that like every week. If you're just gonna do it to get rid of stuff, like you don't really have to do it like my mom does it weekly because we have a lot of stuff.
Lots of clutter, eh? So a bazaar clears out the clutter. Good. Well, yeah. So a yard sale, garage sale, bazaar. Set up a sign. Attach it to some posts around. Put your things out there. Sell them. You want to downsize. You want to get rid of that stuff. We're just going to jump ahead a few weeks, and we'll say that you've had your bazaar. You put some stuff on Craigslist. You got rid of that old computer. And you've downsized. You've had your yard sale, your bazaar, and your moving day is approaching. And so moving day, by the way, is what we call the day that you move. You'll hear that term, moving day. They'll say, when's your moving day? Moving day. From our experience this time around, we've learned that when you're planning your moving day, it really is best to plan sometime midday in the middle of the week. We planned our move on a Saturday afternoon, and we ended up spending more money than we had anticipated on the movers. Now, the movers, by the way, are the people that you hire with a big moving van or a truck to help you move. And if these people take a long time driving because they're stuck in traffic, well, they charge a little bit more. So, schedule them to come in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, Monday to Friday, and you won't regret it. You're going to save a little bit of time. Just try and time it when traffic is low. It's all about the time of day that you pick. You just want to strategize that a little bit. Like, why pay more, right? So now the actual packing is certainly tedious. But with a few tips here, it won't be so difficult. First, let's consider disassembling the furniture. So disassembling, this is another word to say take apart. Taking things apart, disassembling. Tables need to be disassembled, maybe beds or bunk beds or anything from IKEA can be disassembled. And so disassemble these things and save any screws or any nuts or any little bits in a special baggie that you label just for those things. I learned this as a child, so I never make that mistake. I've learned that one already. You got to keep everything together and well organized, all those little nuts and screws and whatnot. And also about labeling, you want to make sure you label everything. Your kitchen stuff, your holiday decorations, every box you pack deserves a label. We didn't label things quite as well as we could have in our move. Some things were labeled, but others weren't, and this has led to some headaches because there'll be boxes that I brought them upstairs and then they should have been in the kitchen, and things just got mixed up. Like there was a big bag of socks in the kitchen that didn't need to be in the kitchen. But anyway, the point is, yeah, if you don't want to be cleaning with your socks, if you don't want to mix them up with your kitchen things, and then your kitchen's going to look all cluttered and overwhelming, you want to make sure that you have things labeled so that your socks end up in the right spot. Now, when you're packing kitchen supplies, if you don't have bubble wrap. You want to wrap your plates up and your cups or any glass. You want to wrap it up with your clothing. I broke a plate, a really nice plate. I broke it because I was rushing and I just put, a couple quick sheets of some paper towel between things, and it didn't protect my plates, and a really nice plate broke. So consider putting some clothes aside to wrap your stuff up before packing everything away. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Wrap things up?
Well, I haven't told my mom about the plate.
Oh, well, now she's likely learning about the plate. One of the nice plates that I got as a gift broke in the move, unfortunately. Now, if you do have time beforehand, and you're not using your clothes to keep your things safe, you may want to consider purchasing some moving blankets to protect your furniture. Or maybe even hold on to some bubble wrap. If you get any Amazon purchases, there's always, a lot of bubble wrap in there. And I know, okay, yes, you can give it to your kids and let them pop the bubbles and it keeps them occupied for hours. Or you yourself may pop the bubbles. But save some bubbles in the bubble wrap. Don't just pop them all because, well, they're going to be real useful, again, for just packing any fragile things.
Yeah, you just give them a second life.
You got it. Give them a second life. Plastic isn't going anywhere. Hold on to your bubble wrap. It's not going anywhere.
Oh, I just want to mention about the moving blankets. Like, even if you're not moving, they're great to have. Just everyone should have moving blankets in their house. If there's anything you want to protect, throw a moving blanket on it.
This particular studio, if you're setting up a podcast, you can put moving blankets. I call it again a studio. It's a bedroom with moving blankets all over the place to muffle the sound. And it works. It works fantastically. You can hear there's no echo. And it's all because of the moving blankets. So before we wrap things up for today, I've got a handful of phrasal verbs and some compound words that I'd like to ask Estefania about, just to see, how you would describe these things to me. First off, load up. Load up. What does it mean to load something up?
I usually relate it to loading up the car. I just think about it when you, carry the stuff that you need. For example, if you're gonna go take a trip somewhere, you gotta put all the stuff that you need for the trip in the car. So you load up the car. The
car, the airplane, the boat, the vehicle. Typically, we load things up for transportation. So load up. Indeed. And also, how about pack up? What do you suppose that means?
Well, pack up is more like something, like when you put something in a package or in a small bag. It's just something you pack up at your lunch.
Yeah, exactly. So, to pack things. So you pack things up before you load them up. And by the way, something Estefania commented on, the movers were likely very skilled Tetris players. So if you are moving, just start practicing a month before your move. Download Tetris on your phone. Start practicing. You want to know how to make the most out of small spaces, you got to play Tetris. Get Tetris, play it regularly, and prepare for that move. And then when you pack things up, you'll be able to load them up effectively into your vehicle, make the most out of that space. How about unload? What does that mean there? Unload.
When you bring off the stuff from the car.
Yeah, bring things out of the car. The opposite of loading up is unloading. Exactly. And then how about unpack?
To open a package. Whenever you get something in the mail, you unpack it as soon as you can. As soon as you can. Well, that's what I want to do when I get stuff in the mail.
Exactly. Yeah, you unpack it. You take it out of its packaging. All right. Here's another here. Take down. What do you think about that? To take something down.
Well, it reminds me of the ornaments. Usually that's what you take down. You grab them and take them down. So that's what I picture. Whenever you're just grabbing stuff to package it.
Totally, like, because ornaments, like, even, like, you know, decorations, paintings, or, like, if you got a TV mounted on the wall, or anything like that, you take it down. Something that's high up, and you bring it down to ground level. You take it down. And what about put up? What do you suppose that is, put up?
Oh, once you've arrived to your new house, when you put the ornaments back, and that's putting up. So basically the opposite of taking down.
Exactly. You take things down in your old house to put them up in your new house. Now, here's another one, though. How about throw away? Because sometimes, like I mentioned, when we downsize, we gotta throw things away sometimes. So what is that?
Oh, that is like when you threw away my little cup. So he put it in the garbage.
Yes.
Yep.
Killed it.
Yeah, because it was
Kaput.
clutter.
Yeah.
The cup. It
was
was
clutter.
the jar.
Little jar.
The little jar.
It didn't make it. And it was clutter. It was in the clutter pile. And I said, no, we're not going around with clutter. Okay, good. Well, I'm going to throw you a curveball here. Here's a couple that you might not be familiar with. How about shrink wrap? Now, this is a compound word. This is a noun. Shrink wrap. What do you suppose that is? Shrink wrap.
I'm not sure. A psychiatrist that's gonna wrap you around something.
Yeah? Maybe.
Maybe some wrapping thing that makes it stuff smaller?
Ah, there you go. Indeed. When movers come, our movers, I liked these guys. They were good. They shrink wrapped everything.
Oh, emplayar.
Emplayar. That's what they did. They emplayar everything. The shrink wrap is this plastic wrap that you wrap it around and around and around stuff, and it contracts as it sticks to something, and it makes it shrink. Keep it away from children. You don't want kids playing with shrink wrap. They're going to make it's not going to be pretty. Yeah, shrink wrap is that plastic wrap. You wrap things up in it, and it makes them contract, makes them kind of a little smaller. How about a fixer-upper? There's another good one there, a fixer-upper.
That's something that you fixed, but you didn't really fix. Like, you just used the gadget to fix it fast. But it was also in a song on Frozen. So
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember, but I don't know.
The song in Frozen is referring to a person. A fixer-upper is a project. It's something that if you dedicate a little bit of time to, you can make it better. So, regarding a house, if a house is a fixer-upper, it means it's going to cost you a lot of money. So, a fixer-upper is a house that you buy, and you see it and you say, you know what, I like the house, I like the neighborhood, it's all good. However, I'm just not satisfied with a few things about it. I'm going to invest some money into fixing this house up. A fixer-upper. And by the way, if a person is a fixer-upper, then similar thing, it just means it's somebody that you look at them and you say to yourself, you know what, that person, I like them, but I don't like a few things about their personality. I'm going to fix them. My suggestion, don't fix people. You can't fix people. People fix themselves. Don't look at a person and say, oh, they're a fixer-upper, I'm going to fix them. No, come on. It's not a project you want. Focus on fixing your own life. You got to be your own project, a lifelong project of fixing ourselves up.
Be your fixer-upper. So that's what you got to remember when you go to bed. I am my own fixer-upper.
Indeed. Indeed. And now there's one more here, a dream home. What is it? What about a dream home? What do you think that is?
It sounds like something you can call a home, and it's something that you always dreamed of, so the home of your dreams.
You put these words together like puzzle pieces, and the picture comes and we can see it. A dream home is the home of your dreams. I agree. It's the home of your dreams.
It's a house that you always imagined when you were looking at those magazines of houses. or a Pinterest.
Okay, like if a couple movies with some examples with first they had fixer-uppers and they made them into dream homes. Obviously, I'm thinking about The Notebook. Cause The Notebook, have you seen The Notebook? No. Oh. Well, other people have seen The Notebook, and not much of a spoiler, but just to say, there's a fixer-upper and it turns into a dream home. How about It's a Wonderful Life? We've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah.
I like that one, but yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, there's this old spooky house at the beginning, and they're throwing rocks at it. Before you know it, turn it into their own beautiful dream home. Wonderful vocabulary. Wonderful things to learn. A few tips about moving. Take care of yourselves. And when you move into a place, bake some pie or some cookies and bring it on to your neighbors. They want pie and cookies. People are happy to get pie and cookies. Do you have any closing words you'd like to add, Mrs. Bateman?
So I just want to tell everyone that for moving day, something that I would have done that we didn't plan on was a food schedule. Like, make sure we have food for that day. Because we ended up eating really bad food.
Yeah, we ate garbage food all week. We ate just McDonald's, like 3 days in a row, pizzas.
We called it moving food.
Yeah, exactly. It's a good excuse. It adds up. It adds up because now, even though I keep working out, this belly's not going away. And so I got to cut back on the McDonald's and pizza, and I got to keep cooking for myself. Very good point. Food schedule.
Drink lots of water.
We're going to get to wrapping this one up today. If you feel like you missed any of the words or anything, well, not a problem. Just look down below in the description, and you'll be able to see there a whole bunch of words about moving and words that are going to help you. Words that you didn't know you needed. But hey, we all move at some point. It's a very common human experience, and so prepare your English for it, right? Well, thank you for tuning on in today, folks. I've had a lot of fun making this episode, and I'd like to thank my lovely wife, Estefania, for taking her time this evening to join me in this episode. We always make some good stuff. And enjoy your meals of the day. Wherever you are, enjoy your day, enjoy your morning, your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. And have a good one.